Hey, this is the World Advice Channel too. What I want to talk about today is the topic of what would happen if the war on drugs never happened. So when it comes to this particular video, I'll talk about what would have happened if the war on drugs never happened, when it comes to how the black community would be doing. And for this video, I will be as fair and unbiased as possible so you can know in a logical way what would have happened if we, as a black community, never had this situation inflicted on us. So now that I mention that, let's get started. So when it comes to the topic of what would happen if the war on drugs never happened, how would the black community be doing? Well, the simple answer to the question is the black community, simply put it, would be doing better. And I believe we would have developed as a community. Now, the reason why I say that is because the black community as a whole, of course, as I'm certain everyone is aware, was actually doing pretty good when you look at how things were after segregation era ended, okay? Well, because after segregation ended, of course, in the 1960s, the story everyone's familiar with, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, all this type of shit you can imagine your life, after it ended and 1970 started, there was actually a black middle class that was starting to develop in America, okay? And they were actually doing pretty good. A lot of black people were getting jobs and could actually go place without worrying about discrimination, yada 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 yada, and actually enjoy life and stuff. Then in the 1980s, you know, as I'm certain we're all aware, then of course, no surprise, the war on drugs started. In all honesty, and when it started to demonize and change the perception of white America towards black people because we were depicted as being criminals, who sell drugs and all that type of stuff, specifically crack cocaine, you know, and all that type of stuff. And it used to show all these news reports of showing black kids living in a hood and a ghetto. That of course changed the perception of white America from seeing us more as like a victim, of racism to more the predator that's out to get them and all that type of stuff. They did a lot of things that I'm certain, as we can all kind of tell, yeah, definitely not help black relations, black white relations for that matter as a whole, okay? It definitely took us back and helped fuel the demonization of our community, especially when you look at it in honesty. We were actually doing so well the previous decade, in 1970s, and stuff. It helped. The 1980s helped demonize the community, and of course, no surprise who was in charge: Ronald Reagan. And Ronald Reagan just helped demonize our community and make us look bad and make us look like someone that we are actually not. For all you know, he probably was the one who actually created war on drugs in the first place, just to destabilize the black community. And that is the truth of the matter. And in the end result, look at what happened to our community, okay, as a whole, because of the war on drugs. So that is the truth of the matter. Is it absolutely did play a negative role. Now the question, of course, is to be in precise detail, what would have happened if it never happened? Let's just say the war on drugs never happened. Maybe it was run as unconstitutional, Ronald Reagan's plan or whatnot, or something just maybe didn't happen the way that it was supposed to. How would the black community specifically be doing today? Well, the simple answer to the question, which I was getting at before, was that we would be doing a lot better because the war on drugs, destabilize our community, like I was getting at before. It helped cause a lot of problems and stuff, and it also led the way to gangster rap, which just helped pretty much kind of glamorize the destruction of it. In all honesty, which even though I know people make the argument, well, gangster rap was just showing the thing at the time. There's a difference between discussing a problem versus over freaking saturating gangster rap. And the 1990s was oversaturated with gangster rap. So yeah, it definitely did make things even worse than it needed to be, in all honesty, to put it bluntly. In all honesty, it definitely did help destroy it. It's just that it's so freaking was oversaturated. And that's exactly what I have to say about the war on drugs, in honesty. It absolutely did destroy the community. And one of the biggest ways, of course, as I was getting at before, is the development of gangster rap, which just fucked up everything. And that's the truth of the matter. So that's pretty much about it. So that's one of the things that would have happened. And that definitely happened as a result of war on drugs. And of course, more police officers in our communities looking for us to kind of arrest us. Obviously, more people addicted to drugs, more people, of course, in jail, more murders. If all that stuff never happened, then there wouldn't have obviously been a lot of those things that would have happened in the first place. Obviously, when you look at the amount of black people who've died, it's literally been easily over 100,000 have died. No, I think it's been about over 100 to maybe 200,000, either 100 to 200,000 black people who've died because of the gang disputes in the war on drugs. Easily, if the war on drugs never happened, then those 100,000 to 200,000, whatever it is, would still be alive today. That is absolutely a fact. At least the vast majority of them would still be alive today because the war on drugs was helped glamorize, destroy our community. And aside from that fact, though, you also have to take in consideration, to put it bluntly, though, as well, no surprise to add to that as well, the black community as a whole, because of all these things and discrimination experience, trying to find jobs and all the instability, we were prevented from developing a better middle class that would have obviously made us more money and all that type of stuff, and of course put us up higher in society. And that's the truth of the matter. And that's not even getting to the fact that obviously if we didn't have the war on drugs and it was just a push to push gangster rap that just fucked up a lot of things, in honesty, to be honest with you, then obviously, no surprise, there would have been a higher passion level and a higher drive to get people to, of course, want to strive for more instead of people who think it's cool to be in the hood. Because, to put it bluntly, as I'm certain we're all aware, we live in a world where there's people who literally live in mansions and gated communities that are rich. I think that they want to be from the hood. And that's exactly the truth of the matter. It did cause a lot of problems. And it fucked up everything. It fucked up everything. And as a result, how our community would have been doing if that stuff never happened, we would be doing a million times, 100 times better, in honesty. And I'm not even trying to be biased here or anything. I'm just saying honest truth here because it just helped promote a lot of the problems that just destroyed our community and made us in a state of poverty and crisis that we are in today. So absolutely, if it never happened, it would have we would have been doing a lot better. And that's the truth of the matter. So that's the truth when it comes to the effect of what the war on drugs created. It definitely destroyed our community. It caused a lot of problems. And the truth of the matter is, in the end of the day, we as a black community are going to have to, of course, not just move on from it, but also plan for the future, for crying out loud. Because the war on drugs has just fucked up everything, to answer your question, but it still doesn't mean that we can't progress and move on from it. And that's the truth of the matter, okay? You know, when it comes to that particular situation. So that's really about it. So anyway, this is my video. All I have to say is that I hope you enjoyed it. And just remember, if you like this video and videos like this, remember to thumbs this video up and hit the subscribe button. And this is all I have to say. And simply put, I'm out. So bye.